So my thesis project is about water safety and awareness for elementary school age students. But when I started out in the summer, I really had no idea what I was going to focus on. I was really interested in kind of the environmental side of water and the waterfront in New York City. And so as a field test, I gave myself the assignment of visiting every single public beach in New York City over the summer, which is kind of the best homework assignment anybody could ever ask for. And I went and I just asked people who were going to the beach what they thought about the beach, what they loved about the beaches, what they, what was their passion about going to the beach. And at first I heard a lot of responses from people saying, oh, how great it was, and how, New York has the best water for surfing, for swimming at. But then I realized after talking to people that many people in the New York City area were really concerned about the recent drownings, particularly this summer. It was really a bad summer, and in the Rockaway Beach, which is the largest beach in New York City, I learned that the beaches were forced to close about 3 weeks earlier than expected because there were so many drownings. And so after that, I realized that despite my personal interest and what I thought was the real heart of the matter for the waterfront, I realized that there was something else that was really going on. And so I decided at that point that I needed to contact kind of experts and people who knew more about the waterfront than I did. And so over the summer, I just really started doing my research, learning as much as I could to get to that point where I could feel comfortable in a conversation. And so I, did a lot of web research. I went to the library, read a lot of books about, the history of New York City, the history of the water, the history of the beaches. And then I just kind of Googled everybody that had New York City water and beach in their name and bit the bullet and made phone calls and emails and started trying to contact researchers or people who could think analytically about the subject matter. And after one person I started out with a big organization like the Parks Department, and then you whittle down to kind of the more community-based advocacy groups, and eventually you find someone who's a good fit, and eventually I found the Rockaway Waterfront Alliance to be the best partner for me. Well, honestly, my biggest challenge is getting over my fear and my fear of approaching people and telling people that I am somebody who you can talk to about this, that I am a designer, I'm confident, I can contribute something to the field that's different. And so, just to really get over it, I had to do that research, and I had to do a little bit of kind of soul searching and tell myself, it's okay, I'm a designer, I'm a good person, I have a lot of skills that I can offer that a lot of people can't offer to the subject matter, and figure out a way that I can use those skills to take the problem of water safety and water education, beach education, to another level. And so after that, everything was pretty simple. After that, getting that first phone call in, really just like being really informal, talking to people, just kind of saying, I'm not totally sure what I'm doing, but this is my interest. I know you're interested in it. Let's have a conversation and see where, the Venn diagrams meet. And so that was really the biggest challenge. And after that, everything really went smoothly. Sure. I mean, I have tons of advice because I made tons of mistakes, but I think it's important to be comfortable making mistakes because it's the only way to move forward. I think choose a topic that you're really happy with and you're really comfortable with. I see a lot of my friends, took a few steps back when they did projects that they thought would be good for them or thought had, real novelty, but it wasn't something that they were passionate about. I think that when you really are doing something that you're really interested in, that you enjoy doing the research. I mean, my research was going to beaches, wearing my flip-flops, and hanging out in the summer. And I think it's that time where you really have those aha moments, and I think that's really important. I mean, I said treat it like a business, but in terms of give yourself and your work respect like you would a business project. And I think my third bit of advice is don't box yourself in. I was a narrative student last year completely. I mean, I took all narrative type classes, brought motion graphics, the works, but that didn't confine me to just doing an animation. And I think once I let myself realize that there are many ways for me to express narrative, and there are many ways for me to consider, a form for my project, I think it allowed me to kind of blossom in a way, or take advantage of all of the the unique offerings of the MFA DT and realize that, you know, sometimes a game is a really interesting format, or sometimes a website, or sometimes, you know, podcasts can really be the appropriate form. I think it's important to consider the form of your project in respect to the, you know, the content of your project. Don't just consider yourself a narrative person, make an animation and chalk it up to that being that. I think it's fine to totally just go crazy. It's your thesis year.